The handcuffs bit into Tyler's wrists like icy teeth, the metallic clink echoing in the sterile interrogation room of the downtown Chicago precinct. "You're making a mistake," he stammered, his voice cracking under the weight of the detective's glare. But the words dissolved into the hum of fluorescent lights. Outside, rain hammered the windows like fists demanding entry, mirroring the storm raging in his chest as he realized this nightmare wasn't ending with a simple apology. He had one call, one shot to claw his way back to the life he'd barely begun to claim as his own. Fingers trembling, Tyler punched in the number he'd memorized like a prayer, Justin's, whispering into the receiver, "I need you. They think I'm someone I'm not. But God, Jay, there's so much I haven't told you about why I run." Justin's voice shattered through the line like glass underfoot, raw and unraveling. "Tyler? Oh Jesus. Where are you? Mom's here. Wait, she knows? Tyler. She just broke down saying it's her fault. All of it. The silence we all kept while Dad." The call cut to static, but not before Tyler's world fractured. The hidden fractures of his family's unspoken grief spilling out in that single, desperate breath. Tyler's sneakers squeaked against the linoleum floor as the officer shoved him toward the holding cell, the door slamming shut with a finality that made his stomach lurch. Chicago's South Side had always felt like a pressure cooker. Gritty streets lined with brick row houses, the distant wail of sirens blending into the rhythm of life. But tonight, it was a trap snapping closed. He slumped onto the bench, the thin mattress doing nothing to cushion the ache in his bones from the rough arrest. Wrong place, wrong time. That's what the cop had barked when they yanked him from the alley behind the corner bodega, mistaking him for some low-level dealer in a botched sting. His backpack, stuffed with dog-eared poetry books and a half-eaten protein bar, lay confiscated on an evidence table somewhere, probably being rifled through like it held state secrets. At 17, Tyler Hayes had learned to navigate the world's sharp edges with a quiet grace, his hazel eyes often downcast to avoid the stares. Growing up in an Englewood neighborhood where survival meant blending in, he'd mastered the art of invisibility. But invisibility had its price. It meant hiding the sketches in his notebook, not just the cityscapes of Lake Michigan's jagged horizon, but the tender lines of a boy's profile, soft jawline curved like a secret. It meant dodging the questions from his mom, Elena, about why he lingered too long at the library after school, or why his laughter sounded forced around the dinner table. The phone call had been his lifeline, that one mandated minute of mercy in the system that chewed up kids like him. He dialed Justin without thinking, the number etched into his soul from stolen afternoons in Grant Park, where they'd first brushed hands under the shade of ancient oaks. Justin Ellis, tall, with that mop of blonde curls that caught the sun like wheat fields Tyler had only seen in faded calendars from his grandma's attic. They were the same age, both seniors at Lincoln Park High, but worlds apart in the invisible maps that divided their lives. Justin came from the North Side's polished edges, where brownstones whispered of old money and his dad's law firm greased the wheels of every school fundraiser. Tyler? He was the scholarship kid, the one who volunteered for extra shifts at the community center to afford the bus fare across town. The static from the call still buzzed in Tyler's ears like a swarm of angry bees. Justin's voice had cracked on "Mom's here," and then Elena's, his own mother's, sobs filtering through, muffled but unmistakable. "It's my fault," she choked out, the words Tyler had never heard her utter, not even during the endless nights after Dad's accident. Paul Hayes had been a transit worker, steady as the L train rumbling overhead, until a derailment 3 years back turned their home into a museum of grief. Photos of him fishing at Wolf Lake, grinning with a stringer of perch, gathered dust on the mantel while Elena worked double shifts at the hospital, her nurse's scrubs a uniform of quiet endurance. Tyler had buried his own pain in silence, afraid that speaking it would shatter them all. But now, in this cold cell that smelled of bleach and regret, the fragments were piecing together in ways he couldn't ignore. Why had Elena been with Justin? How did she know about the arrest so fast? And that pause in Justin's voice, "While Dad," it hung there like a noose, tightening around memories Tyler had locked away. He pressed his palms to his eyes, willing the tears not to fall, but they came anyway, hot and unbidden. Footsteps echoed down the hall, heavy and unhurried, snapping him upright. The door swung open, and the detective from earlier loomed in the frame, his badge glinting like a false promise. "Kid, your story checks out, mostly, but we've got questions about that call. Your boyfriend's folks are lawyered up, and your ma? She's a mess out there. Says there's more to this than a mix-up." The man's voice was gravelly, laced with the cynicism of too many late nights. Tyler's heart stuttered. Boyfriend. The word landed like a punch, out loud for the first time in this place that stripped you bare. We just. Tyler stammered, but the detective waved him off, uncuffing him with a grunt. "Save it. You're free to go, but don't think this is over. Loose ends like you, they tangle everything." As Tyler rubbed his wrists, raw and red, he stepped into the hallway, the fluorescent buzz fading behind him. The rain had eased to a drizzle, turning the streets into mirrors of smeared neon. There, under the precinct's awning, stood Justin, soaked through, his curls plastered to his forehead. Beside him, Elena, her face a map of exhaustion, eyes red-rimmed but fierce. "Tyler," Justin breathed, crossing the distance in 2 strides, pulling him into an embrace that smelled of wet wool and home. Tyler melted into it, the world narrowing to the steady thump of Justin's heart against his chest. But Elena's gaze over Justin's shoulder was a storm cloud, heavy with words unsaid. "We need to talk, Mijo," she said softly, her Puerto Rican lilt wrapping around the endearment like a bandage. "All of us, about your father, and why I've been lying to you both." The ride back in Justin's beat-up Subaru was a silent funeral procession, the wipers slashing through the remnants of the downpour like accusations. Tyler stared out at the blurring lights of Lakeshore Drive, the dark expanse of the water a void that swallowed secrets. Justin's hand found his in the back seat, fingers interlacing with a gentleness that belied the tremor in them. Elena rode shotgun, her hands folded tight in her lap, knuckles white as bone. It had started innocently enough, their love. Tyler remembered the exact moment. A crisp October afternoon in the school library, where the air smelled of aged paper and desperation before midterms. He'd been tucked in the back corner, sketching the curve of a stranger's hand on the table. Long fingers, elegant, absent-mindedly tapping a pencil. When Justin slid into the seat across from him, borrowing a highlighter for AP Lit, their eyes met over the fluorescent glow. "That's intense," Justin had said, nodding at the drawing, his voice low to not disturb the sacred hush. Tyler flushed, slamming the notebook shut, but Justin's smile was a lifeline, warm and unjudging. "Hey, no shame. Art's supposed to bleed a little." From there, it unfolded like a forbidden novel, stolen glances in the cafeteria, where the clatter of trays masked their whispers. Walks home that stretched into hours along the 606 trail, where elevated tracks hummed overhead like conspirators. Justin confessed first, in a voice barely above the rustle of fallen leaves. "I've known since I was 12, Ty, watching old movies with my brother, realizing it wasn't the heroes I envied. It was how they looked at each other." Tyler had nodded, his own truth spilling out in fragments. The confusion at 12, staring at the lifeguard at Montrose Beach. The relief at 15, when a library book on Stonewall made him feel less like a glitch in the universe. But love in a city of contrasts was a tightrope. Justin's family, the Elises, were pillars of Wicker Park's progressive facade. His dad, Marcus, arguing civil rights cases by day, quoting Baldwin at dinner. His mom, Lydia, a gallery owner curating exhibits on queer icons. They suspected, perhaps, but Tyler was the wild card, the boy from across the divide whose world didn't align with their curated one. Elena knew nothing, or so Tyler thought. She'd caught him once, deleting texts from Justin with frantic swipes, her brow furrowing in that way that said she saw more than she let on. "Be careful, Tyler," she'd murmured, handing him a plate of Eras con Gandals. "Hearts break easiest when hidden." Now, as the car pulled up to their modest two-flat on 63rd Street, the weight of the unspoken pressed down like the humid summer air that never quite lifted. The house was a sanctuary of sorts. Faded yellow siding, a stoop cluttered with potted herbs Elena tended like old friends. Inside, the living room held the ghosts. Dad's old recliner, still angled toward the TV where he'd watched Cubs games. The mantle photos, Paul Hayes beaming beside a younger Tyler at his first piano recital. They settled around the scarred oak table, steam rising from mugs of chamomile that Elena insisted on brewing. For the nerves, Mijo. Justin sat close to Tyler, their knees brushing under the table, a silent anchor. Elena's eyes, dark and deep as the Puerto Rican coffee she favored, flicked between them, softening at the edges. "I owe you both the truth," she began, her voice steady despite the quiver in her hands. "About your father, and why I've let this silence poison us." Tyler leaned forward, the room tilting. "Mom, what do you mean?" "Dad's accident, it was just that. A freak thing on the tracks." Elena shook her head, tears tracing silver paths down her cheeks. "No, Tyler. It wasn't just the job. Paul. He was struggling. Long before the derailment." She paused, glancing at Justin as if drawing strength from his quiet nod. "He loved you more than anything, Mijo, but he carried a pain he never shared. A secret from his own youth back in the 80s, when being who he was could get you beaten or worse." The words landed like stones in still water, rippling out. Tyler's breath caught. "What secret?" "He was like you," Elena whispered, the admission hanging fragile in the air. "Gay. Or bi, he never labeled it. He told me early in our marriage, swore it was the past. But it wasn't. He met someone, a man, while working overnights. Started as friendship, then more. Paul ended it to be with me, with you on the way. But the guilt, it ate him. And when the accident happened, I think part of him welcomed the escape." Justin's hand tightened on Tyler's, a lifeline in the flood. "Aunt Elena," he said softly. They joked about the title once, half serious, but she waved it off with a sad smile. "Not Aunt, Justin, but family, yes. I knew about you 2 months ago. Saw the way you look at my boy, like he's the son. And Tyler, the sketches in your room? Cleaned once, found them. Drew was there, in every line." Tyler's face burned, shame and relief warring. Drew, the name he'd buried since Dad's death. A ghost he'd never named aloud. Dad's old work buddy, the one who'd visited once after the funeral. His handshake lingering too long, eyes holding a sorrow that mirrored Tyler's own hidden aches. "Why didn't you say anything?" Tyler's voice was a whisper, raw as the rain-scoured streets outside. "Fear," Elena admitted, her shoulders slumping. "Fear of losing you like I lost him. Paul died keeping secrets, and I thought silence protected us. But tonight, when Justin called me, panicked, saying you'd been taken, I saw it clear. The pain we carry isn't in the truth. It's in the hiding." The room fell quiet, save for the distant rumble of the L train, a mechanical heartbeat to their unraveling. Justin shifted, his voice breaking the hush. "Ty, when you called from the station, I was at home arguing with Dad about college apps. He wants Yale, I want Columbia, closer to you, to this city that feels like us. But then your voice, scared like that. I grabbed Mom, drove straight to Elena's. She was waiting on the stoop, like she'd been expecting it." Elena nodded. "I have Paul's journal, hidden in the attic. He wrote about Drew, about the love he denied, about how it mirrored the boy he'd raise one day, you, Tyler. Reading it now, after all this time, it's like he's speaking to us." She rose, disappearing up the creaky stairs, returning with a leather-bound book, its pages yellowed and edges frayed. Tyler's fingers trembled as he opened it, the scent of aged paper mingling with the chamomile's calm. Paul's script was neat, deliberate. March 15th, 1992. "Drew's laugh today, like thunder rolling in from the lake. I tell myself it's nothing, but Elena sleeps beside me. And I wonder if love is a finite thing or if it multiplies in the dark." Tears blurred the ink, Tyler's chest heaving. Justin leaned in, reading over his shoulder, their breaths sinking in the lamplight. "He was brave, Ty, in his way, and you're braver." The night stretched, confessions weaving through the hours like threads in a tapestry long torn. Elena shared stories of Paul's youth, sneaking to Boys Town bars in the 80s, before AIDS cast its shadow, dancing to synth beats that pulsed with forbidden joy. He chose us, she said. But he never stopped loving that part of himself. I wish I'd told him it was okay. By dawn, the rain had cleared, painting the sky in bruised purples and golds. Tyler and Justin stepped onto the stoop, Elena's hand warm on Tyler's back. Go, she urged. Live the truths he couldn't. And come home soon. We'll burn those pages if you want or frame them. Whatever heals. As the Subaru pulled away, Chicago awakening in fits and starts. Joggers on the path, vendors firing up grills for breakfast tacos. Tyler turned to Justin, their hands clasped over the gearshift. What now? He asked, voice small against the city's roar. Justin smiled, that wheat field glow breaking through. Now, we tell my folks, properly. And then, Grant Park, that bench by the fountain, where it started. The drive north wound through the city's veins, past murals of civil rights heroes and coffee shops buzzing with the morning rush. Tyler's mind raced, piecing the call's fragments into a mosaic of possibility. Wrongfully detained, yes, but released into a truth that bound them tighter than any chain. The bench in Grant Park was slick with dew, the Buckingham fountain spray misting the air like a lover's breath. Tyler traced the grain of the wood with his thumb, memories flooding back. That first real kiss, tentative and tasting of spearmint gum, hidden by the willow's drape. Justin sat beside him now, legs stretched out, his knee pressing against Tyler's in a claim that felt revolutionary. The arrest was behind them, a clerical error. The detective had grumbled, fingerprints clearing Tyler by midnight, but its echo lingered, a reminder that safety was a privilege, not a right. You're quiet, Justin said, tilting his head to catch Tyler's gaze. The sun climbed higher, gilding his curls, making him look like one of those Renaissance boys in the Art Institute, all golden light and unspoken yearning. Tyler exhaled, the journal's weight still phantom in his lap. Just processing. Dad's words, they're like hearing him again. But it hurts, Jay. Knowing he hurt like that, alone. Justin's hand found his, thumb stroking the pulse point at his wrist. Yeah, my folks, they're great on paper. Dad's got rainbow flags in the office. Mom hosted that gala for the Ollie Forney Center last year. But coming out to them, it's like jumping off the bean without a net. What if their allyship stops at the abstract? Tyler squeezed back, the contact grounding. Then we land together, like last night. He leaned in, foreheads touching, the world narrowing to the space between breaths. It was moments like this that made the fear recede, the romantic pulse beneath the drama. The way Justin's eyes held galaxies of understanding. They walked the paths after, hands brushing until the crowd thinned near the museum campus. Tourists snapped photos of the skyline, oblivious to the two boys carving their own history amid the icons. Remember prom? Justin asked, dodging a flock of pigeons. You in that thrift store suit. Me tripping over my own feet during the slow dance. Tyler laughed, the sound lightening the load. Mrs. Ramirez chaperoning, side-eyeing us like we were plotting a heist. But that song, Wonderwall, God, I thought my heart would explode. Prom had been a milestone, fraught and electric. Lincoln Park High's gym transformed into a starlit dream, fairy lights twinkling against the bleachers. Tyler had gone stag officially, but Justin's presence was a magnet, pulling him onto the floor when Oasis crooned through the speakers. Their sway was subtle, shoulders brushing, until Justin's whisper, "Screw it," led to a hand on the small of Tyler's back, right there under the disco ball's fractured gaze. No one noticed, or if they did, the world didn't end. But Tyler's pulse had thundered, a mix of terror and triumph. Now, in the park's open embrace, that memory felt like a prelude. We should do it tonight, Tyler said suddenly, stopping by the bean-shaped sculpture, its mirrored surface reflecting their intertwined forms 1,000 times over. Tell them, before the fear festers like it did for Dad. Justin's eyes widened, then softened with resolve. Okay, dinner at my place. Neutral ground, lasagna, Mom's specialty. Dad'll be home from court by 7. The plan settled like a vow, propelling them through the afternoon. Justin dropped Tyler at the community center, where he volunteered teaching art to younger kids, his way of paying forward the sketches that had saved him. The room buzzed with crayons and chatter, little hands smudging colors into bold statements. "Mr. Tyler, look!" A girl named Mia beamed, holding up a rainbow flag fluttering from popsicle sticks. "For pride." His throat tightened, nodding approval. "Beautiful, Mia. Colors like that, they tell the world who you are." By evening, Tyler stood on the Ellis's brownstone steps, nerves jangling like loose change. The door swung open to Lydia's hug, scented with lavender and gallery varnish. "Tyler, Justin said you'd join us. Come in, the sauce is simmering." Marcus boomed a greeting from the study, papers rustling as he emerged. Tie loosened, glasses perched on his nose. Dinner unfolded with easy rhythm. Talk of cases, Marcus railing against a bigoted judge. Exhibits, Lydia gushing over a new Keith Haring retrospective. Justin's quips landing like perfect pitches. But under the table, Tyler's foot tapped a Morse code of anxiety. As plates cleared, Justin cleared his throat, the room stilling. "Mom, Dad, there's something. Tyler and we're together. Have been for months." The words hung, then burst. Lydia's face lit with a smile that crinkled her eyes. "Oh, honey, we wondered. The way you light up around him? It's poetry." Marcus leaned back, expression thoughtful, then nodded. "Son, I'm proud. But tell me, how can we support this? The world's not always kind." Relief crashed over Tyler like waves on Navy Pier, tears pricking. They talked late, boundaries, safety, the closet's toll, Marcus sharing his own college awakening in the 90s. Lydia admitting her brother's hidden life in San Francisco. It was humanistic grace, the kind America promised in its anthems but delivered in fits. Yet, as Tyler rode the bus home, euphoria ebbed into unease. His phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Saw you tonight. Cute show. But secrets don't stay buried, Hayes." Attached, a blurry photo, him and Justin, kissing in the park earlier, time-stamped. Heart slamming, Tyler deleted it, but the chill lingered. Who? A classmate? Someone from the arrest? Sleep evaded him, Dad's journal open on the bed. Paul's entries grew darker. July 1995. Drew wants more. I can't. Elena's pregnant. But last night, his hand on mine. I felt alive. Tyler traced the words, wondering if betrayal had stalked Paul too. Morning brought school. A gauntlet of lockers and laughter. Justin met him at the gates, backpack slung low, grin wide. Last night was epic. Dad's already emailing resources. PFLAG meetup next week. Tyler forced a smile, pocketing the dread. Yeah, epic. Classes blurred. Calculus equations mocking his fractured focus. English dissecting the Great Gatsby. Love as illusion, Fitzgerald's ghost whispering warnings. Lunch found them in their alcove by the vending machines, away from the cafeteria's roar. What's wrong? Justin asked, peeling an orange, segments bright as hope. Tyler hesitated, then showed the text. Justin's face paled. Shit, who'd wait that number? It's Carter's. Carter Hale, junior varsity quarterback. Golden boy with a smirk that hid teeth. They'd clashed once. Carter slurs in the hall after overhearing locker room whispers about Tyler. Ignore it, Justin urged, but doubt seeded. Afternoon practice for the school's theater club pulled Tyler away. Rent revival, his role as Angel a quiet rebellion. Rehearsals in the auditorium, lights pooling like spotlights on truth. But as he nailed the harmony, one song, Glory, his phone vibrated again. Another text. Tell Loverboy about the pics I have, or they go viral. Panic surged. Tyler bolted to the bathroom, splashing water on his face. The mirror reflected a boy teetering, hazel eyes wide, jaw set. He dialed Elena. Mom, trouble. Her voice steadied him, calm amid the storm. Come home. We'll handle it. The bus ride south was torture, city blocks ticking like a bomb. Elena waited with hot cocoa, journal in hand. Paul faced whispers too. Rumors at work. He ignored them, mostly. But what if I can't? Tyler confessed, the dam breaking. Jay's world. It's glass. One crack. Then it shatters and we rebuild. She pulled him close, her embrace a fortress. Call him. Be honest. Love isn't hiding. That night, Tyler met Justin at the pier, waves lapping like confessions. Wind whipped their jackets as he spilled it all, the texts, the fear. Justin's anger flared, then softened. Carter's an S. I'll confront him. No, Tyler pleaded. Together. Their kiss there, salt-tinged and fierce, was a pact. But as they parted, Tyler's phone lit. A new message, photo attached, Dad and Drew, arms around each other in a faded Polaroid, time-stamped years ago. Family tradition. Betrayal's shadow lengthened, the past clawing into the present. Carter's locker was a shrine to gridiron glory. Stickers from state championships peeling at the edges. A faded ribbon from homecoming court dangling like a taunt. Tyler and Justin approached at the bell's toll, hallway thinning to echoes. Carter turned, broad shoulders filling the space. His grin all teeth and no warmth. Well, if it isn't the lovebirds. Come to beg. Justin's jaw clenched, but Tyler stepped forward, voice steady despite the quake in his chest. The text stop. Now, whatever grudge. End it. Carter laughed, a bark that drew stares. Grudge? Nah, Hayes. Just truth-telling. Saw you two getting cozy. Thought the school might appreciate the show. He leaned in, breath hot. And that pic of Daddy Dearest? Vintage. Found it scanning old yearbooks for the alumni drive. Your old man had tastes. The hallway spun, Tyler's vision tunneling. You don't know shit about him. Oh, I know enough. Quiet Paul, the family man. But whispers travel. Carter's eyes gleamed, predatory. Delete my number, or the whole district sees. Justin's hand clamped Tyler's shoulder, pulling him back. You're done, Hale. Dad's a lawyer, assault charges, defamation. Pick your poison. Carter scoffed, slamming his locker. Bluff all you want, Ellis. But secrets? They stink. He sauntered off, leaving venom in the air. Tyler sagged against the wall. The Polaroid's image burned in his mind. Dad, younger, arms slung casual around Drew's shoulders at a company picnic. Smiles easy under summer sun. Innocent, perhaps, but in Carter's hands, a weapon. They skipped last period, fleeing to the roof access. A forbidden perch with views of the loop's steel spires piercing the clouds. Wind howled, whipping Tyler's hair as he paced. How'd he get that? And why now? Justin sat on the ledge, legs dangling. Jealousy, probably. Heard he asked you to homecoming last year, jokingly, but still. And with the arrest buzz. Small minds need targets. Tyler sank beside him. The city's hum a distant lullaby. Dad's memory. It's all I have left clean. If this spreads. It won't. Justin's arm wrapped around him, pulling close. The embrace was romantic anchor, bodies aligning like puzzle pieces. We'll fight. Elena's got your back. My folks too. The bell rang below, a clarion call back to normalcy. But Tyler lingered, head on Justin's shoulder. Promise me no more hiding, even if it breaks. Promise. Their lips met, soft and sure, the skyline blurring into irrelevance. Home was Elena's arroz con pollo steaming on the stove, her questions gentle as she stirred. Tyler showed her the photo, her face clouding. Drew sent that to Paul once. I kept it, thinking. Closure. But how? Doesn't matter. Tyler cut in, though it gnawed. Carter's got it. Threatening to leak. Elena's spoon stilled. Then we take it back. Paul's gone. But his dignity? Ours to guard. She pulled out her phone, dialing Marcus Ellis. Lawyer up, friend. This boy's got a bully to bury. By evening, the plan coalesced. Confrontation with evidence. School counselor looped in for mediation. But sleep brought dreams. Dad on the tracks. Not derailed but running. Drew's hand outstretched. Carter's laugh echoing like thunder. School next day crackled with tension. Whispers followed Tyler. Had the arrest rumors mutated? Justin stuck close, a shield of blonde curls and quiet fury. In English, as they parsed Gatsby's green light, illusion of the unattainable. Tyler's mind wandered to Paul, chasing his own unreachable shore. Lunch brought escalation. Carter cornered them by the gym, entourage in tow, teammates snickering. Decided yet, Fairy? The slur landed like a slap, but Tyler held ground. Hand it over. The photo, the text. Or we go public. Your harassment, the whole deal. Carter's smirk faltered, eyes darting. You wouldn't. Try us. Justin's voice was steel. A beat. Then Carter shoved a USB drive into Tyler's hand. Fine. Take your trash. But stay out of my sight. He stormed off, shoulders hunched. Relief was short-lived. Plugging the drive at the library later revealed not just the photo, but scans, dozens, including Paul's work logs, notes scrawled in margins. Miss D tonight. E suspects? Heart-pounding, Tyler forwarded to Marcus. This is deeper. Blackmail level. Marcus's call came swift. Son, this reeks. Carter's dad's on the school board. Possible motive. Covering family skeletons. We'll investigate quietly. But quiet shattered that afternoon. Tyler's phone blew up, screenshots circulating in group chats. The park kiss, captioned Lincoln's latest. Carter's revenge, viral before deletion. Humiliation burned as Tyler fled to the bathroom, retching into the sink. Justin found him there, door barricaded. Ty, breathe. It's out. But we're okay. No, Tyler gasped, sliding to the floor. Everyone knows. And Dad's stuff. If that leaks. Justin's arms enveloped him, rocking gently. Then we own it. Come out swinging. The principal's office was a whirlwind. Suspensions threatened. Apologies demanded. Carter denied, but the IP traces Marcus pinned him. Expulsion loomed, but Tyler's plea, just stop it, for everyone. Elena arrived, fierce in scrubs, hugging him tight. Proud of you, Mijo. Facing the dragon. Home that night, they burned the prince in the backyard fire pit. Flames devouring the past, smoke curling like released spirits. Justin stayed, their hands linked across the blaze. Love you, he murmured, the words a bomb. Me too. Tyler's kiss was grateful, deepening under stars that seemed brighter. But betrayal's thread pulled tighter. Days later, a letter arrived, no stamp, slipped under the door. Paul wasn't the only one hiding. Ask Elena about the night before the accident. Tyler's blood iced, confronting her over dinner, fork trembling. Mom, what happened to Dad? Really? Her face crumpled, fork clattering. Tyler, I swore silence, but you deserve truth. The story poured. The fight, Paul's confession renewed. Rekindling with Drew, a desperate grasp at youth. Elena's ultimatum, born of hurt. He left that night angry, said he needed air. The derailment, hours later. Guilt ravaged her features. I blamed myself. Still do. Tyler pulled her into tears, Justin's hand on his back. You both loved him. That's not betrayal. It's human. Healing began there, fragile as frost. But the letter's shadow loomed. Who knew? Winter crept into Chicago like an uninvited guest, frosting the L tracks and turning breaths to ghosts. Tyler's days settled into a new rhythm. School abuzz with the scandal's fade, Carter slinking through halls with downcast eyes. His expulsion a quiet legend. Justin's presence was constant, their romance blooming in small rebellions. Notes slipped into lockers. Meet me at the Bean, midnight magic. Coffees shared on snowy benches, lips brushing frost-kissed cheeks. Yet the letter festered, its anonymous scrawl a splinter under skin. Tyler pocketed it, afraid to probe, but dreams twisted it into nightmares. Dad's train screeching, Elena's screams, a faceless figure watching from shadows. Valentine's approached, a pink-tinged taunt amid the gray. Justin planned meticulously. Reservations at a BYOB in Andersonville, queer-owned with walls of vintage posters. Harvey Milk smiling down like a guardian. Tyler arrived early, nerves electric, bouquet of daisies clutched like armor. The bistro hummed, couples laughing over pasta, a fiddler weaving folk tunes laced with longing. Their table candle flickered, casting Justin's face in heroic glow. "For you," he said, sliding a velvet box across linen. Inside, a silver chain with a pendant, two interlocking gears, etched forward, like the song, and us, meshed, unbreakable. Tyler's throat closed, fastening it around his neck. Perfect. Dinner flowed, stories of futures. Tyler's art school dreams at SAIC, Justin's journalism bent at Northwestern. "We'll cover the world," Justin vowed. "Expose the hurts, celebrate the loves." The kiss after, in the alley's hush, was fire. Hands roaming jackets, hearts sinking to the city's pulse. Romantic? Yes, but laced with the drama of stolen moments, the fear of eyes unseen. Home. Elena waited with empanadas, her smile knowing. "Good night." A beat. "Tyler, the letter. I found it in your jacket." He deflated, spilling fears. She sighed, pouring wine, her rare indulgence. It was Drew, Paul's old flame. He reached out after the funeral, drunk texts, then letters. Blamed me for driving him away. I blocked him, but grudges, they hibernate. Tyler's fork paused. "He's the sender?" "Probably. Last I heard, he's in Milwaukee teaching auto shop. Bitter, alone." Elena's eyes glistened. "I never told Paul about the ultimatum's regret. That I wanted him whole, whatever that meant." The confession hung, humanistic in its imperfection. "Forgive me?" she whispered. "Always, Mom." They embraced, the chain's weight a talisman. Spring thawed the secrets, but conflict brewed. School's Diversity Week spotlighted them. Panel on queer youth. Tyler's sketch of intertwined hands projected large. Applause thundered, but backstage, whispers. Carter's dad pulled strings. Board meeting tomorrow. Marcus confirmed. Retaliation brewing. Hale Sr. pushing morals clause review for clubs. Rage simmered. Tyler and Justin rallied. Petitions signed in quad. Allies from theater and GSA amplifying. Climax hit at the assembly. Hale rising, voice booming. "This agenda undermines values." Tyler stood, mic trembling. "Values? Like bullying? Like hiding who we are?" The room hushed, then erupted, cheers drowning Hale's sputter. After, in the green room, Justin pulled him close. "Hero." Their kiss was victory, sweet and surging. But betrayal struck home. That night, Elena's call, "Tyler, hospital." Slip on ice, but Drew's here. Visiting. Heart pounding. Tyler raced over. ER lights harsh. Elena bandaged but alert. Drew loomed by the bed. Grizzled. Eyes Paul's but hardened. "Heard about the drama. Thought you'd want context." Words tumbled. The night before. Paul at Drew's, confessing love renewed. "He chose you," Drew spat at Elena. "But I egged him on. Guilt's mine." Tyler recoiled. "You sent the letter? To hurt us?" Drew shrugged, defeated. To force truth. Paul's ghost deserved it. Fury boiled. "Get out." Security escorted him, but the wound gaped. Justin arrived, wrapping Tyler in warmth. "It's over," or so they thought. Drew's parting gift. A tape, Paul's voice, recorded confession. "Elena, I love you, but Drew has always been there. Forgive me." Devastation crashed. Elena wept. Tyler raged. Betrayal's double edge. Love's complexity. The tape's hiss filled the living room like accusation. Paul's voice tinny through the old cassette player. Words from a man long gone, yet alive in every syllable. "Elena, if you hear this, I didn't mean to hurt. Drew was escape, but you're home. Tyler's future. Don't let my mess define it." Static swallowed the end, leaving silence thicker than fog off the lake. Tyler ejected the cassette, hands shaking. Elena sat statue still, tears carving canyons. He recorded it that night. "For me, I never knew." Justin's arm around Tyler was iron, But even he faltered. This closure? Or just more pain? Pain, Tyler whispered, the romantic ideal fracturing. Their love, once a fairy tale in gritty prose, now mirrored Paul's, beautiful, flawed, teetering. How do we trust if even dead? Elena stirred, voice raw. Trust isn't absence of betrayal, Mijo. It's choosing through it. Paul chose us every day. Drew was temptation, not destiny. The words landed humanistic, a bomb of realism. They talked till dawn, grief's layers peeled, laughter bubbling in memories. Paul's bad jokes at birthdays, his clumsy dances to salsa on the radio. He was human, Elena said. Loved big, messed up bigger. School blurred into finals frenzy, but the tape's echo lingered. Tyler poured it into art. Canvases of fractured gears, lovers bridging chasms, exhibited at the center's youth show. Justin's article in the paper, from shadows to spotlight. One teen's fight for visibility. Pride swelled, their bond deepening in late-night study sessions. Kisses amid textbooks, whispers of summer plans. Road trip to the up, motels with lake views. Yet conflict simmered. Carter's expulsion stuck, but his dad sued, defamation, claiming Tyler's assembly words libeled. Marcus countered, but stress etched lines on Justin's face. Dad's buried in briefs, worried it'll tank his rep. Tyler massaged his shoulders one evening. Rooftop perched their sanctuary. We'll weather it, like the tape. Justin's sigh was wind-tossed. Yeah, but what if love's not enough? If the world's pushback wins? The doubt pierced, drama's undercurrent surging. Tyler cupped his face, eyes locking. It is, because we choose it. Every day. Their kiss there was desperate, romantic fire against encroaching night. Bodies pressing, affirming life amid chaos. Hands explored with tender urgency. Boundaries respected. Emotions raw. Summer broke like a promise. Graduation caps tossed under June sun. Gowns billowing like sails. Ceremony speeches lauded resilience. Tyler's valedictorian nod. Words on embracing the unseen. Elena beamed from seats. Lydia and Marcus applauding fierce. Post-ceremony. The party at the Elisa's sprawled across garden. String lights twinkling, grill smoke curling. Tyler and Justin slipped away to the attic playroom. Childhood relics witness to their now. College soon, Justin murmured, tracing Tyler's chain. Different dorms, but weekends trains calls us. Us, Tyler echoed, sealing with a kiss that tasted of forever. Betrayal's final twist came via mail. Drew's letter, remorse-scented. I was wrong. Paul's tape, meant for healing, not harm. Enclosed, his last letter to you. Inside, Paul's script. Tyler, son, be fearless in love. I wasn't always, but you, shine. Tears fell, catharsis flooding. Tyler shared with Elena, then Justin. It's over. Climax brewed not in violence, but vulnerability. A family dinner, Elisa's and Hayes merged. Plates passed, stories swapped. Paul's fishing tales, Marcus's 90s escapades. Laughter healed, bonds forged. But the lawsuit peaked, court date in fall, Hale's bluster crumbling under evidence. Dismissed with prejudice, a victory Pyrrhic but pure. Through it, Tyler and Justin's love deepened. Emotional anchors in humanistic sea. Walks in Millennium Park, hands open. Letters penned like poetry, sealing envelopes with wax. Autumn leaves turned, colleges beckoned. Drop-off day, Tyler's SAIC dorm, boxes of sketches unpacked. Justin lingered, bed mussed from goodbyes. One call away, he teased, echoing the arrest's lifeline. Always, their parting kiss, doorstep under oaks shedding gold, was romantic pinnacle. Tears mingling, promises etched. Winter's first snow fell as Tyler sketched alone. But the phone rang, Justin's voice warm. Miss you. Story time. Always. Words flowed, bridging miles. Love's drama yielding to enduring light. The first semester at SAIC was a whirlwind of charcoal dust and critique circles. Tyler's hands perpetually stained, his sketchbook a chronicle of metamorphosis. Chicago's skyline framed his window, a constant reminder of roots twined with wings. Justin's visits were oases. Amtrak pulls into Union Station, arms opening like harbors. Their reunions sparked with that initial electricity. Coffee at Intelligentsia, steam rising like desire unspoken. Gallery hops in Pilsen, fingers brushing over murals of migrant dreams. But distance tested, emotions ebbing like tides. Late-night calls faltered. Justin's journalism grind at Northwestern devouring hours. Tyler's deadlines a jealous rival. I feel adrift. Tyler confessed one November night. City lights mocking through frost-laced glass. Justin's pause stretched, then softened. Me too. But we're building, Ty. Not breaking. The romance endured in gestures. Care packages of Puerto Rican spices from Elena. Mixtapes echoing Paul's cassettes. Rent anthems for resilience. Holidays healed further. Thanksgiving at the Haze. Elena's table groaning with pernil and yucca. Elisa's joining for toasts to found family. New Year's brought revelation. Justin's internship at the Tribune, covering youth advocacy. Tyler's panel quoted, his art featured. You're my muse, Justin said over midnight champagne. Kiss bubbling with future. Spring semester crested with Tyler's thesis show. Threads of inheritance. Canvases weaving Paul's secrets, Drew's shadows, Elena's strength into tapestries of queer endurance. Opening night, crowd swelled. Elena tearful, Lydia curating a corner spotlight. Justin's speech, mic in hand. Tyler's work reminds us. Love isn't linear. It's the knot, the fray, the mend. Climax arrived subtly, humanistic crescendo. Drew's unannounced visit to the gallery, sober now, eyes humbled. Saw the notice. Had to see. He lingered by the central piece. A split portrait Paul and Tyler mirrored, hands extended. Beautiful. I'm sorry for everything. Tyler nodded, walls cracking. Forgiven. Mostly. For Dad. Drew's nod was grave. He'd be proud. The lawsuit's echo faded fully. Hale Sr. resigned board seat. A quiet concession. Betrayal scars remained, but as badges, not burdens. Summer reunited them fully. Sublet in Wicker Park, days at Montrose Beach. Sand between toes, waves whispering absolution. Evenings on fire escapes, guitars strumming folk laments, Justin's voice harmonizing Tyler's poetry. Conflict's last gasp. A fight, sparked by exhaustion. Justin's job offer in New York, tempting escape. It's a step up, he argued, skyline aglow. Tyler's heart clenched. But us? Roots here. Words sharpened, then softened in tears. I choose you, Justin vowed, map discarded. Always. The makeup was raw, bodies close in the loft's hush. Emotions bared. Love reaffirmed in whispers and touches chaste yet profound. Fall returned, stronger. Tyler's senior year loomed, Justin's byline rising. Elena dated, a widower from work, gentle with her stories. Paul would approve, she confided. 1 year post-arrest, they marked it at the precinct steps. Ironic pilgrimage. Rain held off, sun blessing. One call, Tyler toasted with coffee, changed everything. Justin's grin revealed the pain and the power. The ending unfolded not in grand tragedy, but quiet triumph. Humanistic arc bending toward light. Tyler's graduation. Cap toss amid cheers, Elena's hug fierce, Justin's ring box subtle, promise band, engraved forward. Not now, he said, but soon. Our story. Tears fell, joyful. They walked lake shore, hands linked. Chicago's pulse their anthem. Pain carried? Yes, but lighter shared. Betrayal's sting dulled to wisdom. Love's drama to enduring romance. In the end, Tyler sketched them on that bench. Gears interlocked, unbreakable. The world, flawed and fierce, yielded to their light.